Hi, this is Francine DeGiorgio, Yahira Lobos. Today is our full moon, super blood flower moon, lunar eclipse. And I will be giving you a energy report today, coming live right at you. It's been a while since I've been able to go live, and I just wanted to say hello to all of those that are subscribing. This is Crystal Nations Collective, Yahira Lobos right here, also known as Francine DeGiorgio. And I wanted to bring today some news about what is going on in the field, the energy that's in the collective right now. As a visionary, as a channel, as a woman who's about to be 50 years old here in 2021, with 4 planets in Scorpio myself, I'm a Libra Scorpio sun sign, October 22nd, and I am a Leo rising, and I'm here to share some of what has been going on in the astrology, also what's been affecting us collectively and in the conscious collective field. I just want to take an opportunity to give thanks, great creator, give thanks to Mother Earth, give thanks for this gift of life, give thanks for grandmother's moon light, giving thanks for all of the planets and the dimensions that are in the sky, aligning for us today to birth the new earth. We are ending human suffering, and we are all taking responsibility for ourselves. We have many of the planets getting ready to go retrograde, like Mercury on Saturday will be going retrograde. We have Saturn that just went retrograde. We have Jupiter right now in Pisces. We have right now Aries in Chiron, the wounded healer. And we have Cancer in Mars. Jupiter in Pisces is a lot about our emotions and really paying attention to what is being expanded right now or highlighted, what triggers are affecting you, what emotions, traumas, old wounds. Right now, everything is being blown up. What is happening on the underneath that you can't see. Right now, there's a lot going on with Neptune and Pluto in the signs of being able to not see. Everything's getting ready to be revealed right now. So from this eclipse till June 10th, we're having a new moon. And this is going to be also a solar eclipse on June 10th. So for the next month, we are in an eclipse season. It is going to be high voltage. We are making significant changes. This eclipse today has the finger of God on it. There's a lot going on in the astrology, and I'm not quite the astrologer. And I definitely suggest some of the astrologers that I've been listening to that have many different perspectives and points of view and different personalities that can actually get the whole fun picture. Some of my favorite astrologers that I really love listening to that have great advice and stories that could help you understand your birth chart and what's happening in the sky is the Leo King. Also, he's on High Vibe TV, and we also have Marutu with Sun Soul Astrology. She has Sun Soul TV. They both have their own apps. There's another astrologer that's fairly new to me that I really love a lot. It is astrologer Heather. She's also on YouTube. And then there's Molly McCord, Kelly Rosano. Let's see, the Paradigm Astrology. Let's see. Those are my main go-tos. Oh, and the Astrology Hub. Love what Amanda is doing, Amanda Walsh. And she has one of the great Anne astrologers. She's an elder. So paying attention to the astrology, getting your chart done, knowing what your sun, your moon, and your rising right now, it would be really important for all people that may not have ever paid attention to their astrology before. This is another way of taking a look at how your energy, your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses have been affected at the time of your birth and the location of your birth. And it's interesting to be able to have a map, so to speak, that will allow us to go throughout the 365 days of a year. And right now it's going to be, like I said, high voltage for the next month. We're in an eclipse season. So today is actual a lunar eclipse. That's a super blood full moon. And they actually, I think in the Native American astrology, believe that this is a flower moon. So in the planting seasons, this is the season where the flowers bloom. Tonight, right after this video, I'll be planting some flowers in my medicine wheel. And this evening, I'll be having my own medicine wheel ceremony prayer for myself, being that there's so much going on. I am definitely going to be asking for assistance through asking my benefic guides, my angels, my Elohims, those ancestors that walk with me, asking Great Creator to be with me tonight as I pray. And I will be praying for many of the global concerns that are affecting me personally and that affect the environment and where I live. So praying for clean air, praying for a healthy environment, for clean soil, praying for the expansion of consciousness for all of humanity to remember who they are and to know that we all have a purpose here on planet Earth. And this year will be summing up what has taken place for many of us in last year of 2020 as COVID hit. Many people lost their jobs, their way of living, their homes, many breakups, divorces, many deaths, losses. So we are coming to a full circle at this full moon, and we are ending a very significant, a very significant time in our life. It's not a season. It's not just one thing. We're absolutely ending an old paradigm. The old paradigm is the patriarchal, that which was all built, every foundation and system that we have today, the environmental, the religious, the medical, the educational, the economical. These systems have been built out of corruption and greed, with a lot of control coming from men who have decided what they have the right to Mother Earth and her resources and humanity. Many of us have been awoken for a long time to the corruption. Many men and women and children, no matter what continent that we live on, have been subjected to suffering, abuse, unfairness, injustice, and inequality. If you're a woman, you definitely know what it's like to be gawked at, spoken to in an aggressive way, in a condescending way, in a sexual manner. Many women haven't even been able to make the same amount of money doing the same thing for the same amount of time and years that a man is working. So we haven't had equal pay. There's been more emphasis on men becoming the bread maker, winner of the family, going to work, paying the bills, the women staying at home. That's how it was when I was growing up. And the paradigm started to shift as I was becoming a teenager. And I was one of the, way showers who was born in 1971. And I'm one of the indigos that was here to be one of the structure busters. So I've questioned authority. I've questioned in every institution that I've been a part of, including being sent away as a child, going to a drug rehabilitation center in New York and in upstate New York and in New York City. I was a part of the system, a ward of the courts. My father lost custody of me. So when I speak as an advocate through having experienced and been through many, many different institutions and seeing the injustices all of my life. And as an indigo structure buster, being one of the only ones who would stand up to the against the norm and ask the right questions my entire life. But we weren't really ready to evolve until now. And I really believe that COVID in 2020 has allowed all of humanity to catch up to what the Mayans knew in 2012 would be either the ending of our global existence, or it would be us doing all that we could to raise consciousness and awareness, to end human suffering, to end the environmental pillaging and rape of Mother Earth that we allow, the dumping, the pollution, the greed, the abuse of power, the abuse of those that are in authority and power, taking advantage of the disadvantaged. And this is where the program, the Luciferian Matrix, the Dark Cabal, has started to show its face to all of the media, as the media's systems have been showing its corruption in Hollywood, in the news, in those that are known as the 1%, the most rich and famous on the earth. We're starting to know the names of those that run the corporations and the companies that dump their oils in the oceans and the rivers and our lakes. We're starting to be aware of those that were promoting others, that were taking advantage of children, that were behind the pedophile and sex and human trafficking. I am one of those individuals who lived a really hard life. I come to remember that I chose this life and that I'm not a victim of how I came to earth and who I chose as my mother and father, and how I ended up losing so much, being abused, being raped, being domestically abused, being on drugs in the streets. And finally, when I got sober 9 years ago, for the last 9 years, I've been an advocate for the mentally ill, as I found out that I too have suffered from PTSD and bipolar 2. But just for date to date, just so everybody knows, I ain't the only mofo that's running around rampant with a disease, with an illness, with a trauma that has resulted in an imbalance and a limitation that doesn't allow any one of us human beings to be healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Our environmental pollution has caused many allergies and diseases of the body. And we've had so many people passing down trauma from one generation to the next. And even though there has been many people awoken in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, for millions of years, all of humanity has been on a trajectory. If you follow humanity's history, you will find out that we've been attempting to break a curse, a spell, mind you, where Gaia has had us trapped, Mother Earth, in a cycle of reincarnating. We've been coming back into this planet as we die, and we haven't yet been able to choose. We've only been coming back to Earth. We've been stuck in a cycle, coming back here until we're all going to learn our lessons and truly become the blessing of not only what Jesus Christ has taught us, but many ascended masters who have become enlightened to be embodied and empowered to ascend into their light body. One would have to go through what is known as the purification process. We are in the purification process. As COVID hit, biblically speaking, in the Hindu texts and many others, we are knowing now, in the Hopi Prophecy, we are knowing now that either humanity is going to either choose the high road and choose Mother Earth and choose valuing all life as sacred, or they won't. Either humanity will respect thyself, each other, and the earth, or they won't. Either we come back into our hearts and remember why we're here, or we fall to our demise in what will be known as the crumble of the fourth world. The Hopi Prophecy has been being fulfilled in my eyes, as I personally have been one of the human beings going around the country for 8 years, raising awareness through the transformational music and art festivals. That was one way a human being could have chosen in these last 8 years to make a difference. For me, that entailed chopping the wood and carrying the water, promoting people, places, and things that had integrity, being educated and certified in meditation and Qigong and yoga. I learned how to purge from people, places, and things, and started to clear out all the clutter of my backyard, of my past, of my history that I was running from for an eternity. So myself and many people here on planet Earth right now know that we came here to end human suffering, to be an emissary of light, to choose to be in the heart, to choose to be conscious and aware, to choose to be the best person that we can be, to discipline ourselves, to be determined, to build something, to create something here on Earth that will be here long after we will, creating sacred, safe spaces, bringing a momentum of energy to light, to life for all humanity. This is where we're at now. Many people are scattered because in COVID, a lot of people lost, like I said, their jobs, their money. They had to relocate. And many people are being rebirthed as they are being forced to let go of a lot of things that no longer serve them. I can't tell you how many people, and I am so proud of them, that have gotten sober in this last year, not only from hard drugs, but from alcohol as well. I want to give great thanks to all of our water protectors, our indigenous peoples, for raising awareness about the element of water and how precious it is to us. I build Medicine Rainbow water wheels with Crystal Nations Collective, and that was one of my givebacks that I did for free as a volunteer, facilitating medicine wheel ceremonies during the full moon and the new moon to gather all colors, creeds, and religions together to unify in the Sacred Heart. By giving everybody an opportunity in the sacred circle to speak, we were asking that one would say 3 prayers. 1, a prayer for thyself. So often it is difficult for us to pray, asking the great creator and our ancestors to not only guide us, but to assist us, help us, to heal us, to support us, to love us. So asking others to pray for you is also humbling, to know that you don't have everything. It's very humbling to ask for thou which you need. And to have other people witness that is very humbling. To come from the Sacred Heart as you pray, pretending as though nobody's watching you, but really getting into the heart so that you can share from your heart what you truly need. And then praying for the community and your family. What do they need? Who needs extra prayers in your family that you love, your friends, your community, your neighbors? How can we support you and your loved ones, your pets? And then what can you pray for the globe? Praying for air, clean air, the breath of life, giving thanks for that. Taking a moment to either honor and give thanks for that which you have, and then asking for a prayer to be heard for the globe, for the animals, for our water, for our land. These are the things that are birthing right now. This is the energy of today. Even though in the media and on the news on channel 5 or 9 or 11, whatever you're watching, they might not be talking about the visionaries behind the scenes for not only the last decade, but the last couple of decades, where when COVID hit, many of us have had an aha moment, given thanks to great creator for the ability to finally take all of our wisdom and our life lessons, our story of which we lived here on earth, and utilize that by teaching others, empowering others, inspiring others to do something with that life that you had already led here on planet Earth. But no, we are much more than our story. We are much more limitless and have so much more potential than you could ever dream of. And we are definitely much more stronger than we were in 1918 or 1912 when the bird flu swine was here. People are not dying from, let's be very careful here. People are dying and they're choosing death every day. And death is not final. If you can learn how to prepare for your death, die a good death, that means having no anger or resentments or regrets, being good with who you are and why you came here and what you came here to do, accomplishing that, leaving something behind, purifying your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit of all ill doings, thinkings, asking for forgiveness and clearing of all of that. There's a book out there called The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. I suggest anybody who wants to know on a really deep level how to prepare for one's death, that's a great book. And then another book that was written by Michael, can't remember his last name, but he wrote The Destiny of Souls and The Journey of Souls. And his name is Michael. I can't see the books just sitting right out in the front of me. So I will also share with you that we are experiencing high numbers of death, and a lot of people are taking that really to heart. I like to let everybody know that at age 9, I lost my mother, and God has taught me that death is not certain. It is not final. I have a very deep connection with my mother, who shows up with me every single day in different forms, through a song, through the beauty of a dove bird flying overhead and perching right above on a tree, chirping at me during that very moment that I was praying to God. I've seen rainbows in the sky and have collected crystals in those moments thinking of my mother. There's just been dreams and connections that I've had in this lifetime that show me that we are still connected. Energy does not die. And I've had a great opportunity in learning how to take that loss and make it a blessing. And my entire life has been being of service to others in these last 9 years, especially, but making other people feel welcome, good, loved, heard, supported. I've held many people in my arms and have prayed for many. And it is now upon us that the energy of that is here for all. I'm not the only one today praying and talking to God every day and chopping the wood and carrying the water and finding beautiful ways to help other people, not because we have to, not because we should, but because we want to. And we can, because we're abundant, we're full of energy, and we have so much love to give. So that is what is happening for many of us who've had a really hard life. And up until COVID, it was really hard to be on the planet. But I feel that with so many people waking up consciously, many people are starting to understand and overstand why we're really here, how to be of service, how to be fair, how to be strong, how to think a little bit more clearer and kinder, to be aware that people may not see your thoughts, but we can feel them. It's almost like we can hear them. So we are being asked in this new earth energy to be mindful, like the Lakota has taught us, to be mindful of your thoughts, your words, and be mindful of the actions that you take and question every one of them. And ask yourself, do I need to say that? Is it going to help that person? Is it going to be helpful to me? Is it going to be helpful to anybody? Is it going to bring progress and solutions and love and light and peace to the earth? Or is it going to cause only conflict and disruption and hurt and pain? Be wise, butterflies, on who you ask the right questions to. For many people wouldn't even be able to know how to answer a question coming from their heart if they've never been in their heart. So mind you, we're looking for incredible beings that are willing to uphold the truth, not always be right, be open, learn how to negotiate, to compromise, to collaborate. And this is the energy of where we're going in the new earth. And right now, there are a lot of people who don't have jobs, who don't have money, who are struggling to find a place to live. There's a lot of abusive relationships that people feel stuck in. If people are more home now than they ever been, God is showing us what we need to heal in our family dynamic. Many people want to run away from their families and saying that they were the black sheep in the family, to only turn around to be the light worker in the family. I just want you to all know I've been getting the message for 8 years, and I've been bringing it to people as a channel, that we don't just get to walk away from our families. We are here to say, I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you. We are here to end the vicious cycle of perpetrator, victim, and bully. We are ending the narcissistic victim relationships. In the new earth, if you want to be a victim, you will be, and that will be your choice. We have too much education and resources on the planet for you to give any being an excuse of that you don't have this, or that. You may not where you're located, but all you have to do is take a step with God in your heart, creator, source of all that there is, that connection in your heart, and move forward, asking to show you where your love lies. In doing what? What do you love to do? God's not going to tell you what you love. You got to find it by taking that first step and asking God to assist you in aligning with that which you really truly love. Ask God to help you open up your heart. Ask Jesus to bring you a healing of the heart, to bring in an expansion of Christ consciousness, unity consciousness. And to all the light workers out there, the readers, the astrologers, the healers, if you're not healthy, if you're not stable, if you're not clear, how can you give other people direction if you're not able to give yourself direction? We're being asked to not rely on other people. It's really superficial. What's not superficial is getting connected to JB. You know what I'm saying? God, creator, source, divine father, and developing a relationship. That's what's sexy. The new black is having a connection to creator, no matter what religion you believe in. And today's the day that you must believe in yourself, because if you don't, you're going to get pushed around this world, and other people will take advantage of you, manipulate you, and use you for what they want. All of us had to learn by going through hell and the Luciferian matrix, by suffering, what not to do and how not to get enmeshed and caught up in transparency, in transference of other people's emotions or projections of other people's ideas of who they think that you are, that really is their own shadow that they're not dealing with, that they're not looking at. For 8 years, I ran around as an advocate for the mentally ill in the transformational music and art festivals. Little did I know that 80% of the people that I was speaking to that were hiding behind the masks and robes of spiritual leader, teacher, healer were actually mentally ill or unstable or unhealthy or living a lie to some large degree. The COVID literally has unmasked the fake spiritual light workers out there. You know, if you have to have a stage and preach to the people what you think that you learned in this world, like all the time, and you need to have people following you for that, I do believe that that's going to be outed. That's not going to be part of our platforms in the new earth. I do believe that we're creating circles and we're creating new systems that will have healthy spaces where there is no attachment. Open spaces where you come and you go and there's no regiment that you have to follow. There's no creed that says this is the only way. We will be much more open now as what hasn't worked for humanity is finally fallen away. The systems have already crashed. 2020 has already taken place. Millions of people did have to die because in order to awaken for the collective, we had to break everybody's heart on fucking earth, including mine, to wake up. The cycle of life, it has a lot to do with the polarity and the duality of the dark and the good, the light, what feels good, what doesn't. And we are finding that middle ground where we're neutral and we're able to manifest from a place of neutrality in our hearts connected to God. We will no longer be a slave to the system, paying taxes, buying houses that have asbestos, sending our children to a system that only teaches us half of the history, what happened to all of the history that has been burned, buried, and broken. Many of us are the lost children of our own ancestors that have been disconnected from us culturally, religiously, and through our families. We have been broken. My mother's name was Josephine Frances Saldivar, and my father's name was Albert Richard DeGiorgio. Both of them had parents that were immigrants, not from this country, English speaking. All of my grandparents were Spanish speaking and Italian speaking, and they didn't speak English. I grew up thinking I was a white New Yorker in upstate New York, where most of the kids were privileged, entitled, and very wealthy. All of our parents came from immigrant parents born out of New York City in poverty. So when our parents had an opportunity to rise above out of poverty into Rockland County, upstate New York, and all of New Jersey, surrounding areas of New York, that's where all the immigrant parents kind of migrated out of New York City too. And our parents had a lot more privilege when they came out of the city. And they went to schools. My father went to a trade school, and my dad was able to buy a house for $35,000. That's worth $425,000 today. So talk about increase, right, of real estate. And my father also made a living where he was able to pay all of our bills and take us camping with an RV camper and a van. We had a family of 6 with animals and a big garden and a nice 2-story house with a lush yard. I went to parochial school for 8 years. How many people got to do that growing up? As I traveled around the United States and as I went into an institution from New York City, I went to school with kids from New York City, and I found out how unfortunate and not privileged many of the kids from New York City and the 5 boroughs were. I also found out how much more worse many other people had it than me. You know, I had been raped, but there were stories of torture that went on in families like every day for years, decades sometimes. And to hear those stories in upstate New York was brutal, and it was an eye opener as just a teenager. It broke my heart. So, what I really want to speak about is back in those days, as much as my parents had the opportunity to uprise, what happened to a lot of the suburban kids, not just only in Rockland County, but this happened in California and in every big city, state around the globe, around the countries. We had drug problems, and a lot of the drugs took our whole essence away from who we are, our innocence as well. And we rebelled against society and authority, and we didn't have the opportunity to do it in the right way. If I had known what I know now about drugs and alcohol, about sex being sacred union, not just for pleasure, if I would have had self-esteem and self-confidence, if I would have known that I should value my and respect my parents and the land that we live in, I would have never done half the things I did in my ignorance as a young child, growing into my 20s even. So today's day is allowing us to address all of the privileges, the entitlement that all of us in North America and around the globe have had. How many of you are sick and tired of the entitled, privileged, and wealthy? And there's a lot of generations of kids that don't know what it's like to suffer, and they've been handed everything. And they have a really good life, and they're really gifted. They're really intelligent. And yes, they are the new earth. We have two different groups of people living on the planet. Yeah, those that are vaccinated, those that are not vaccinated. But what's really happening right now is there's a lot of people that have, and there's a lot of people that have not. And so we, the people, are in the middle of these two worlds, and we need to be a bridge to the new earth. And that means we need a lot of great human beings to be great facilitators that will be acting as leaders without the hierarchy. It's time that people get off of their high horses and want everybody to follow them and get out of that narcissistic look at me motherfucking image. Okay? And get down to earth. And if you want to be with the people, then walk with the people, by the people, because we the motherfucking people. You know what I'm saying? And to really be a good person here on the planet means that if you make a lot of money, you're going to actually donate a lot of that money back. That is New Earth sacred law and code. And there's so much that has been going on the planet that if you really take a look at what you're doing and your actions, you need to ask, is this sacred? Is this respecting myself or other people or the planet? Am I taking advantage of other people, or other people taking advantage of me? Am I receiving my time and worth? What is my time and worth? Do I have value? What do I value? Who values me and my time? Do I get paid for it? Speaking about economics, we want to discuss that there's going to be many different ways to receive money. It's not just going to be working a 9-to-5 job. We're building communities and ecosystems that will be flattering like-minded people. And so many of us visionaries that are oracles have seen the visions of the earth colonies and villages and intentional communities and businesses that we're building out. It's wonderful and beautiful and sustainable to the planet. We're taking care of our elderly, our children. We're taking care of all of those that have disabilities. We're taking care of everybody in our communities. We have different environments that are sacred, that are clean, that are safe, for very educational, resourceful. The whole world is shifting. So how can you today, in this energy, with the North Node being in Gemini, which is all about stepping out of the box, being creative, being intelligent, being quirky, fun, having fun with your creative imagination. Doing something that has never been thought of before is what is needed when Gemini is in the North Node. The North Node governs our career. So we're asking for all businesses to expand their ideas about how to do business. How can you be more sustainable? How could you bring more to the people with less, less time behind the scenes? Like, how can we be more efficient? That's what I wanted to say. How could we be more efficient? How could we make a better product? How can we please our customers in a better way? How could we give back what which we receive? And as we're moving through this year of 2021, we have until December of 21st to get your shit together, to get these plans together. So write books, create business proposals, create business ideas, write out your mission statement. Why are you here on earth? What business idea do you have? Who are you? What do you want to create? Where do you want to create it? When do you want to do this? And how? Why do we need it? So creating a whole answers to these great questions of the whys, and this is basically a business model for the people to actually get out there. How can we help our children, our elderly, our indigenous, those with disabilities, and our animals? How could we bring in cleaner air, cleaner water, and bring water to all of the Native American reservations? How can we bring clean air to all of the people? I mean, let's go big. Food forest. I mean, the sky is the limit. We're getting creative. We're painting. We're making music. We're making art. So go out there, guys, and be your best self. I just want you guys all to know that I'm so grateful for the opportunity to birth Crystal Nations here in Payson, Arizona, with my beautiful partner, Timothy Hairston. I'm so grateful for the abundance that has been coming in my life. I am one of the 144, reporting to all of you today that there is hope. We are getting purified. We are in the trajectory of the hero's journey. We are healing. We are coming back to wholesome wellness and being. I want to give thanks, great creator of all that there is, asking for all of our benefic guides, ancestors. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Bless us during this super blood flower moon, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, a fire sign. May all of you be creative tonight. Paint, charge your crystals, make gem elixirs, drink your moon water, come into ceremony, into ritual, take an Epsom Himalayan sea salt bath, clear out negative energy from your home, cleanse your home, purify your cells with a beautiful nutritional meal. What are you ending in your life? What are you letting go of? What is no longer serving you? What can you say goodbye to and release through this full moon ceremony? How can you celebrate you in this next month? Allow yourself during this eclipse energy to let go of that one thing or many things that no longer serve you, and allow yourself to bring in and welcome these new ideas that are innovative, that are creative, inspirational, empowering, healthy, and healing, fun and joyful. Birth the new earth. I ask all of you to continue to be blessed and pray for all of us to come together and expand our consciousness in the heart. I want to give thanks to all of the human beings that have taught me to come into the sacred circle, to all of my elders that have walked before me, the grandmothers and grandfathers, the fire keepers. Thank you to all the starseed children, all of the way showers, to all of the communities around North America. God bless all of you. God bless all of us. We can do this. We're in this together. Our truth, our story is what is going to clarify why we even had the life that we had, and how we are going to birth the new earth is through the support, the love, the light that we all have for one another. Take a deep breath. Instead of being triggered and reacting, allow yourself to love yourself and respond. Heal that is all within you, and allow yourself to be the new earth, to be an emissary of light. We love you. Oi, oi, oi.